So some of you have been doing spiritual work for a period of time, and perhaps you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. You can hold a pretty good center, and you're just letting this stuff move through. But you may look at your life and say, geez, my life isn't matching my internal peace. There's a lot of stuff going on in my life that is not really matching, and what everybody says is that when my thoughts in here are peaceful and when my heart is peaceful, then everything on the outside is automatically going to change. But I would say that that's not necessarily the truth. Ultimately what happens when you find peace in here and you find peace in there, you'll be guided to hold a greater and greater stability as illusions are now shown on the outside of you. That's one way to look at it. There are denser illusions that are in the subconscious layers of your being. Whether they are ancestral and they're right in the DNA itself, the body, or whether they're in the heart layer, or whether they're in the mind, And the superficial layers of the mind is what we deal with at first. At first we're saying, okay, how am I making thoughts? And how am I also believing thoughts that I'm not making, but thoughts that just naturally go through there? You start to become a co-creator in your thought process. That's the beginning stages of the spiritual path. And at some point when you pop something, we call that the awakening, and then the shifting of the I or the identification changes forevermore. Okay? So then there's a greater sensitivity. But see, this is really the beginning of the spiritual path, not the end. Some people will tell you this is the end, but it is not. It is very, very much the beginning in a lot of ways, because what will happen then is that then you'll be guided to now take it down to the denser levels, this stability. Now you'll be saying, okay, I am not my feelings, I am not my sensations, and this will continue down to deeper and deeper layers, okay? So it's all thought, really. Thought on the least dense form is in your mind, and then the thought on the denser form is the heart, and on the body it's much denser, okay? So it's like a triangle of time and space, how long it takes to deal with these illusions, which is why I think, a lot of the masters had to sit for decades, to start to bring enlightenment into the physical body, because the density of the thoughts that are stored in the body and in the heart level are much more challenging to hold your center through. Let's put it that way. And I've watched a few people go through this, and at least go through stages of it. And it can be a tough process, but the truth is still the truth. It's always that. So if you're asking me, why are you still attracting certain circumstances that might be challenging, even though you're a little bit happy in here, you're kind of free here, it's because your body is still carrying the illusion. Your heart may be still carrying the illusion. And there's a certain part of your mind may still carry it on a subconscious layer. But the truth is, none of that matters. What matters is that you become conscious, right? You keep observing, you stay with your certainty of who you are, and you observe. And you take accountability for your own feelings and your own thoughts around things, and you do the best you can to observe them and to be free in that moment, regardless of what's happening, right? And in that moment, whatever action you take is fine, because self-love is necessary. This is really where the self-love is necessary, because a lot of times, when you grow in sensitivity, when you grow in awareness, you will notice that, oh, well, the old me liked chocolate, but now the new me doesn't like chocolate anymore, it likes vanilla. And it's your job to now use your self-love and then to follow that. It's not your job to say, oh geez, I liked chocolate for the last 10 years, now I should continue to like chocolate for the next 100 because that's what people expect of me, right? So it has been my experience that if you move and flow with who you are in every moment, and as you change, you just accept who you are, and you flow with that change, and you listen to it and use the awareness the best way you know how, and you follow your own internal guidance as best as you can, you will go farther and faster on the spiritual path than constantly trying to revisit who you used to be. Revisit who you used to be and try to maintain that in order to keep from commotion happening around you. It's like realizing you're in a relationship with a con artist, but instead of leaving the con artist and realizing that you might end up in jail too because the con man is doing a lot of stuff, you say, oh geez, I've been with a con artist for 10 years, I'm going to just stay, right? Even though he's stealing and harming people and doing whatever. This is how your awareness works. You become more aware of what is right for you and what isn't, and then the self-love path has to happen, and you're the only one that can really decide that. You have to decide that, okay, I'm going to love myself enough to trust that this feels like the right thing for me to do now, and if I make a mistake, well, hey, that's part of life, but all I can do is flow with what feels right. And yes, sometimes your feelings have illusions to them, but like I said, if you sit with your suffering and you process it and you allow it to flow, then clarity will come, and then it won't be feelings anymore. Then it will turn more to a movement of truth, okay? Now, I'm not saying there's never any illusion there, okay? This is the path. You always want to have enough humility to understand that, yeah, there could be always a piece of an illusion there, but all you can do is the best you can, and then just move forward with whatever is the highest truth for you in that moment, you see? The highest truth for you in the moment is what you must trust, and at that moment, then truth will become stronger and stronger for you, okay? So I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon.